So I've got the two cameras from the last video um, still in view here. I'm going to hide the camera we made, the just the plain camera, the one without the locator, just because we're not going to need that for the demo. That will keep it simpler. Uh, you can see the pink camera now. The aim camera is this distance in the z-axis. You can see from the side window and the top window I'm further away, and this is the aim camera, what it's viewing. This is that aim camera z-axis look. I changed that translation in the z-axis to an even number so I could remember it easily if I ever wanted to come back to it. Everything else is pretty much where I want it to be. If I now put my playhead on frame 1 and have that camera selected, the only thing I'm going to animate for the camera are these 3 translation values. So if I go to frame, let's say 150, which is 5 seconds later, and I click on my camera, I can move it, and you can see how the rib cage then is, the view of the rib cage is changing. The camera remains pointing at the locator. Okay, so I've changed the X and Z elements. I can even change in the y-axis would be good to kind of look down on this a little bit maybe. Let's see. So I'm going to come to the side view and use this, and I'm watching. This window is showing me what the camera is doing. These two windows are showing me, they're my controls. So I've raised the camera up a little bit, still wants to point at the aim. So I have now changed my Y value. Okay, I'm still a little bit awkward. I realize this is not, the actual film gate, but we can use this window just as an example of how to handle this kind of situation. So in this case, instead of trying to move the camera anymore, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and click on the camera aim, and I'm going to raise that a little bit, and that will get the aorta more in the frame the way I want it to. Okay, so I'm going to have to set that as a key value. Now I changed that value, the Y translate, to 95 when I did that. So when I go back to 0, I've got to change that back to 0 and key it. So what we have so far is we spin and look at that. Now the next thing is you might want to get even closer. So with the camera selected, I'm going to hit W and zoom in a little bit. And having done that, then I probably need to adjust that aim one more time. Now the problem is I forgot to move the playhead, so all those changes just occurred there. What I'm going to do is middle mouse drag to, let's say, 270, let's say 250. And now I'm going to key both of those things. Okay, and it seemed like it came back, so I'm going to move the camera closer again. Okay, so we should start here with a front-on view. Oops, sorry, didn't make that the active window. If I want to preview something, I have to make it the active window. So now we're going to rotate and then zoom in a little bit. And that gives us our aorta. So that's one way of animating the camera. So really, in this case, we animated both the locator and the camera, but we never animated the group. So the group stayed without any animation. And that allowed us to keep the camera always pointing at the locator in the center of the rib cage.